It's not what you did, son, that angers me, sir. It's who you did it to.
Who? The fucking nobody?
That fucking nobody is John Wick.
Hey John Wick fans, welcome to Pop Culture Pulse. Today, we're diving into the action-packed world of John Wick. With the awesome world building for assassins, amazing action choreography sequences, and the charismatic acting of the one and only Keanu Reeves, no wonder John Wick stands out as an awesome action hero. Get ready for some cool behind-the-scenes info and hidden details about Keanu Reeves' iconic character. The John Wick movies are seen as the best in today's action scene. Directed by Chad Stahelski and David Leitch, who used to be Keanu Reeves' stunt double in The Matrix, these films are a must-watch.
Good afternoon, Mr. Wick. I'd like it tasty.
Keanu Reeves takes charge in the movie, showcasing impressive action scenes. From intense gunfights to classic knife battles, even some unexpected moments like pencil kills, sumo fights, and a gritty knife and axe showdown in John Wick Parabellum. These films have gained love and acceptance, especially from action fans and movie buffs. However, there are some hidden details about John Wick that a lot of people might have missed. Keanu had a fever while filming an incredibly intense action sequence scene. In the director's cut of John Wick, the director shared that Keanu had a fever and a nasty cold. Despite this, he pulled off one of the toughest and most physically demanding scenes effortlessly. Keanu is widely recognized as one of the greatest action film actors of all time, and he truly earns the title. In this particular intense bar scene, John faces off against skilled combatants, ultimately triumphing but not without taking a serious beating and sustaining injuries, all while dealing with a fever. Fighting off hordes of thugs with a 103-degree fever might just be the most dedicated thing Keanu Reeves did while filming John Wick.
For John Wick Chapter 4,
You're going to die.
maybe not. I'm going to need a gun.
Keanu Reeves saved John Wick from a terrible movie title. In the movie business, picking the right title is crucial for success. The team behind the Keanu Reeves-led John Wick series made a smart choice when naming their movies. Yet, the famous name we all know wasn't the first one considered. Originally, the franchise was supposed to be called Scorn. In a 2020 interview, the writer for the series, Derek Kolstad, shared that Reeves was the one who decided to change the title. Apparently, he would enthusiastically go around telling people he was working on a movie called John Wick, and he did it so much that they figured they might as well call the movie that instead of Scorn.
Good night, Jimmy.
Fans of wrestling might spot one of the actors in John Wick 1. Francis, the nightclub bouncer spared by Wick, may have a small role, but it's played by Big Daddy Cool himself, Kevin Nash. A familiar face from pro wrestling, takes on the role. You might recall him as one of the original NWO members and also as Diesel in the old WWF. He's only on screen for this one scene, but Francis' lack of death is vital to showcasing John Wick's moral compass. It's also a delightful moment for anyone who was watching wrestling in the 1990s.
Thank you, sir.
Keanu Reeves' amazing memory skills. John Wick has no problem in fighting armed persons in a nightclub, with stunning choreography and visuals. What might surprise you is that Keanu Reeves learned the entire scene, and here's the kicker, he did it on the very day they filmed it. Keanu is undoubtedly a genius and an incredibly skilled actor, showcasing that he is not just a charismatic actor but also has a good memory. The fact that he memorized the whole scene within hours is truly mind-blowing. One character's name likely comes from Mythology. The late American actor Lance Reddick plays the concierge at the Continental, the hotel for assassins, hitmen, and anyone who needs a safe spot in the city for not-so-legal activities. As concierge of the New York Continental, Karen is both the face of the hotel and the guard at its gates. The character's name is borrowed from Charon of Acheron, Greek mythology. Charon, also known as Karen, is the ferryman of the underworld, helping souls cross the Styx River. In the myth, people paid him with a coin for his services. John had a face-off with an actual NBA player in real life. This is John Wick, the guy who's taken down enemies with horses and pencils. In John Wick 3, he faces off against a big dude in a library and takes him down with a book. Interestingly, that guy is a real NBA player, Boban Marjanovic, a Serbian 76er, turned into a master assassin in the movie. This cool cameo was quite a surprise for those who know him, but many folks, especially those not into basketball and the NBA, might have missed his big screen moment. John Wick's tattoo. John sports a tattoo on his back with the Latin words Fortis Fortuna Eduvat, which literally means fortune favors the bold, a well-known phrase in literature. Surprisingly, many fans overlooked this interesting detail, thinking the tattoo was just random Latin words without much meaning. They were surprised to find out it actually translates to a common phrase often used in Instagram captions. In a scene from John Wick 2, we see John taking a shower, giving us a glimpse of his back tattoos and muscles, and uncovering this cool hidden gem. They intentionally didn't show Daisy's death on screen. Even though Daisy's tragic fate is the reason for Wick getting back into action, the studio heads gave the directors a directive not to show her death on screen. John gets the cherished beagle as a gift from his late wife. When ISF and his crew attack, they brutally harm Daisy, leaving her for Wick to discover when he regains consciousness. Trainer Kim Krafsky mentioned that shooting the death scene was emotional, especially for Omer Barnia, the actor playing the killer. He felt terrible. Every time the director said, "Cut," he just picked up the dog and cuddled him. He could have been in the military before. John is really good at handling conflicts and seems to have top-notch training in using guns and being an expert marksman. It's not something he just learned from the streets or a local trainer. Fans have been guessing about where he got these skills, and many think it could be from military training. Besides showing off his obvious skills, there's a tiny moment in the movie that made fans think it's evidence supporting their theories. In this scene, John wears his watch on the inside of his wrist instead of the outside. This little detail has puzzled fans for a while, and now they believe they've cracked the code. John must be ex-military, explaining his sharpshooting abilities and the way he wears his watch. Combat styles of John Wick's Japanese Jiu-Jitsu and Miss Perkins' Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. In the movie's close combat scenes, John Wick reveals his skills in traditional Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. His use of head and arm throws showcases his training in Judo, a martial art that focuses on skillfully taking down opponents using hand and foot strikes. On the flip side, Wick's rival, Miss Perkins, practices Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This martial art highlights using a smaller person's frame against a larger opponent, focusing on chokeholds and joint locks to bring them down. You can spot one of these moves when Perkins uses her jacket to put Wick in a wing chokehold. Everyone, and I mean everyone, wants to take down John Wick in the movies. He's always talked about in almost supernatural terms, earning him the title Baba Yaga, the Boogeyman. He's proven to be a force to be reckoned with, and the fact that no one has managed to kill him yet is clear evidence of John Wick's mastery as an assassin. True greatness attracts both admirers and enemies, and John's case is no exception. People speak of him with both awe and fear, but unlike some fictional villains, they don't avoid him. The main reason for his reputation is simple: he's never without a weapon. To defeat an assassin, you either catch them unarmed or wounded. John is always armed, whether with a gun, a book, or a pencil. His enemies have learned that you can separate John Wick from his weapons, but you'll never truly disarm him. Do you know things that most fans might have missed? Share them in the comments below. And that wraps up our list of 10 things you didn't notice about John Wick, the Boogeyman. For more updates on your favorite movies, hit the subscribe button and ring that notification bell. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Until next time.